Is the waiver of the interview something that you can request?
No, that's a great question. No, unfortunately, it's not. And they would probably think it was suspicious if you said specifically you didn't want to be interviewed. They would be like, we're definitely talking to this person. So unfortunately, no, they just in their own, historically, back when it was more common to waive interviews, they would basically waive people who they considered to have lower risk cases or cases that they thought for whatever reason they didn't need to see the people in person. A good example would be that we used to see a fair amount of adjustments of status by people who had come in on K-1 visas waived because basically the immigrant would be interviewed at the embassy to get their visa. And then what, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, they're married in the US and they've applied for a green card. It doesn't make a ton of sense to have to re-interview everyone again. So they were waiving that second interview was kind of a common classification. The same thing with some employment-based, categories. But that's a great question. Dang it.
All right. And one more, I think, just on clarification. So they may skip interviews on a marriage-based change of status.
So yes, and let me just clarify the question because there are some terms that we use in immigration law that are specific legal terms, and so there's actually a difference in the U.S. immigration laws between something called adjusting your status and changing your status. So in normal people words, that changing your status should mean the same thing, but in legal terms, it's actually something different. So adjusting your status is when you go from any non-immigrant status or no status into becoming a permanent resident and getting a green card. And a change of status is when you go from one non-immigrant category to another. So you maybe are going from a tourist to a student visa. That's a change of status. So they don't typically interview people on change of status applications. If you're going from tourist visa to student visa, you typically wouldn't have an interview. So I just wanted to kind of give my lawyerly background and say that I assume that they're talking about adjustment of status marriage interviews. And absolutely, we're seeing some of those be waived, and we hadn't for a while because of the new rules from the Trump administration, which I don't think they really changed. But I guess somebody just over there decided that okay, this has to end. We've got to waive some of these, or we're not going to get through this stack. So I'm happy to see them exercising their authority to do that.